sweetheart.
Oh, sure, sweetheart now.
You want to know something?
Sure, now it's sweetheart.
What do you mean, now it's sweetheart?
Well, now that you're married, sure. Now, knowing that you are no longer touchable is not the right word.
For 30 years, Johnny Carson was America's favorite late-night host, charming millions with his wit and that trademark smile. But behind the cameras, the king of late night had a different reputation entirely. Those who knew him best whispered about his romantic adventures, his undeniable attractions, and the actresses who completely captivated his heart. Tonight, we're revealing the 7 women who made Johnny Carson's pulse race, based on documented relationships, confirmed rumors, and Carson's own admissions. These aren't just wild stories. These are the real romantic encounters that Hollywood tried to keep secret. Prepare yourself, because what you're about to discover will change how you see Johnny Carson forever. Before we dive in, let me warn you, some of these revelations involve Hollywood's biggest stars, and the stories get more scandalous as we go. By actress number 5, you'll understand why NBC executives were constantly worried about Carson's personal life becoming front-page news. And when we get to actress number 7, well, let's just say that relationship nearly destroyed Carson's carefully crafted public image. So buckle up, because we're about to expose the romantic secrets that Johnny Carson took to his grave. Actress number 1, Dyan Cannon. Our first actress is the stunning Dyan Cannon, and her connection with Johnny Carson was far deeper than anyone imagined. Cannon, who was married to Cary Grant from 1965 to 1968, had what she recently described as a profound spiritual love affair with Carson that lasted for years. In a shocking 2025 interview, the 88-year-old actress finally opened up about their relationship, revealing details that left Hollywood insiders stunned. According to Cannon, their connection was unlike anything she'd ever experienced. She described Carson as warm, open, and willing, completely different from the aloof persona many people perceived. But here's where it gets interesting, and honestly, quite touching. Cannon revealed that despite their intense emotional and spiritual connection, they were never physically intimate. She called it a love affair, absolutely, but clarified that physically, they were never together. However, spiritually, they were deeply connected. The chemistry between them was so obvious that when Cannon appeared on Carson's show in 1985, viewers could practically feel the electricity through their television screens. They flirted openly, reminisced about their past, and it seemed like the door to their romance was still wide open. Carson's biographers noted that he rarely spoke about women with such genuine affection, but Cannon was different. She represented something pure in his complicated romantic life, a connection that transcended physical desire. But this spiritual love affair was just the beginning of Carson's romantic adventures. Actress number 2, Angie Dickinson. Angie Dickinson, the legendary star of Policewoman, had a relationship with Johnny Carson that Hollywood whispered about for decades. But it wasn't until recently that Dickinson herself confirmed what many suspected. Their attraction was mutual, intense, and lasted far longer than anyone knew. In a 1985 interview, Dickinson made a statement that sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry. She admitted, "No matter how many men and women we go through, I think Johnny and I will always be attracted to each other." This wasn't just a casual comment. It was a confession of an ongoing attraction that persisted despite both of them being with other people. Their documented relationship began in 1983. During some of Carson's most tumultuous personal years, Dickinson, known for her relationships with Frank Sinatra and President Kennedy, found in Carson something she couldn't resist. According to Hollywood insiders, Carson was completely smitten with Dickinson's confidence and intelligence. She was the kind of woman who could match his wit and challenge him intellectually, something that both excited and intimidated him. But here's what makes their story even more intriguing. At 93 years old, Dickinson recently opened up about their relationship in ways that shocked even longtime Carson watchers. She revealed that Carson had a complex personality, charming on screen, but sometimes difficult in private. Yet despite knowing his flaws, she remained drawn to him. Their connection was so strong that even decades later, she spoke of him with a mixture of affection and understanding that suggested their bond went far deeper than a casual Hollywood fling. But as intense as Carson's attraction to Dickinson was, Our next actress created an entirely different kind of drama in his life. Actress number 3, Sally Field. Sally Field's relationship with Johnny Carson was so awkward and uncomfortable that it became legendary in Hollywood circles, and Field's own descriptions of their time together are both hilarious and cringeworthy. When Andy Cohen asked Field about her relationship with Carson on Watch What Happens Live, her response was unforgettable. She described their dynamic as the octopus and the reluctant little guppy, with Carson being the octopus. According to Field, Carson was persistent in his romantic pursuits, but she found herself in an impossible situation. She was never good at saying no to people, especially someone as powerful and influential as Johnny Carson. So when Carson kept asking her out, Field felt trapped. She didn't want to hurt his feelings or damage her career, but she also wasn't genuinely interested in him romantically. Field's solution to this problem was both desperate and brilliant. She told Carson that she was having a mental breakdown and needed to be institutionalized. Yes, you heard that right. Sally Field pretended to have a mental breakdown to avoid dating Johnny Carson. She explained to multiple interviewers that telling people she had lost her mind was her go-to strategy for getting out of uncomfortable situations she couldn't otherwise escape. The most fascinating part of this story is what it reveals about Carson's reputation in Hollywood. Field felt she couldn't simply turn him down directly, suggesting that Carson's power and influence made him someone you didn't want to cross. Her description of him as an octopus implies he was quite hands-on, making his romantic interest physically apparent in ways that made her uncomfortable. Yet despite this awkward situation, Field spoke about Carson with a certain fondness, acknowledging that he was Johnny Carson after all, and that came with its own appeal. But Carson's romantic entanglements were about to get even more complicated. Actress number 4. Carol Wayne, the beautiful blonde who played the matinee lady in Johnny Carson's Art Fern sketches, had over 100 appearances on The Tonight Show, and their relationship became one of Hollywood's most whispered about secrets. Wayne's tragic story and her documented feelings for Carson reveal a side of the late-night host that few people knew. Wayne appeared on The Tonight Show from 1967 to 1984, and their chemistry was undeniable to anyone watching. She wasn't just playing a character, she was clearly smitten with Carson, and many believed the feeling was mutual. In interviews, Wayne never denied having feelings for Carson, and she even alluded to mutual attraction. But according to Wayne, the timing was always wrong. They never seemed to be single at the same time. In one particularly revealing interview, Wayne made statements that showed just how deep her feelings ran. She said, "He loves me. I love him. It's an understanding, a given. He still sees me every day in his dreams." While Carson never publicly reciprocated these feelings, those close to the show noticed how differently he treated Wayne compared to other regular performers. There was a gentleness, a protection almost, in how he interacted with her. The tragedy of Carol Wayne's story makes her connection to Carson even more poignant. Wayne struggled with personal problems, including substance abuse and financial difficulties. When she died mysteriously in 1985 during a trip to Mexico, Carson was reportedly devastated. He kept the Art Fern character, which was so closely associated with Wayne, off the air for most of the following year as a tribute to her. This gesture revealed the depth of his feelings for Wayne, feelings that were perhaps deeper than he ever publicly admitted. But while Wayne's story ended in tragedy, our next actress brought entirely different kind of drama into Carson's life. Actress number 5, Morgan Fairchild. Morgan Fairchild, the glamorous star of Flamingo Road and Falcon Crest, had a brief but intense relationship with Johnny Carson in 1983 that perfectly captured the complexity of Carson's romantic life during his peak fame years. Their connection came at a time when Carson was navigating his third marriage and dealing with the pressures of being America's most famous television host. Fairchild, known for her stunning beauty and sharp intelligence, was exactly the type of woman Carson was drawn to, confident, successful, and able to hold her own in Hollywood's power circles. According to documented reports, their relationship was short-lived but memorable, occurring during a particularly turbulent period in Carson's personal life when his marriage to Joanna Holland was already showing serious cracks. What made Fairchild different from Carson's other romantic interests was her own celebrity status. She wasn't someone who would be impressed by Carson's fame or willing to remain in the shadows. Industry insiders noted that Carson seemed both attracted to and challenged by Fairchild's independence. She was building her own television empire and didn't need Carson's influence to advance her career, which apparently both frustrated and fascinated him. The relationship reportedly ended as quickly as it began. However, those who knew them both suggested that the mutual respect remained, and their brief time together represented Carson's attraction to powerful, intelligent women who could match his wit and ambition. But as complicated as Carson's relationship with Morgan Fairchild was, it paled in comparison to the scandal surrounding our next actress.